In mid-2017, Chevrolet aired this ad.
We think it's because Chevrolets are
the most dependable.
It's a compilation of almost a century of their own advertisements. The editing hopscotches around an implicitly vast archive and seems designed to demonstrate the presence of an unquestionable corporate legacy. And if the comments on the YouTube page are any indication, that's what the ad tapped into: fandom, desire. About a year later, Timothy Burke of Deadspin put together this video.
Unfortunately, some members of the media use their platforms to push their own personal bias and agenda to control exactly what people think.
In it, dozens and dozens of so-called local television anchors recited word for word a script handed down from their owners at the Sinclair Broadcast Group.
This is extremely dangerous to our democracy.
This is extremely dangerous to our democracy.
This is extremely dangerous to our democracy.
The internet responded with outrage that parroting these corporate talking points violated the public trust. Here, the editing offered analysis, proof. Despite the disparity of their purposes and raw materials, these compilation videos had something in common. They were supercuts. If you've been pretty much anywhere on the internet since the turn of the 21st century, you've probably encountered a slew of supercuts, and you know that most are compiled from television or feature films, but they can be assembled from nearly any sort of footage: news footage, sports footage, home movies, video blogs, and practically any other form of visual media, from paintings to clip art to comic strips to tweets. When Andy Baio coined the term supercut in 2008, early examples like "I'm not here to make friends" and "let's enhance" hit the internet like something novel and special, racking up millions of views. But in the following decade, something changed. Between the moment that Baio set up his website dedicated to cataloging examples and the moment that website went offline in 2015, the supercut had evolved from the province of niche fan remix communities and into a tool of both mainstream advertising and legitimate news analysis. Call it a sign of the form's maturation or saturation, but the supercut has become such a staple of news analysis and late-night comedy that now it's not uncommon for two different programs to simultaneously produce supercuts of the very same thing. For instance, in the wake of Julian Assange's arrest when Donald Trump claimed to know nothing about WikiLeaks, Fox and The Washington Post both assembled supercuts of 2016 Trump stump speeches that extolled the site. Oh, and so did CBS, The Guardian, CNN, Mother Jones, the BBC, and NBC, twice. In fact, the supercut has become such a default evidentiary trope within the essay form that sometimes multiple miniature supercuts appear within a single video. Even in the world of fan-made supercuts that don't respond to current events, nowadays the form seems to proliferate on its own, as if it were self-replicating, using content creators as hosts. The supercut is just in the air now. This duplication even appears in the case of very specific topics. Here are two supercuts of telephone calls in movies that were independently released exactly 1 day apart back in 2015. This, despite the fact that in 2007 Apple ran a spot for the iPhone during the Oscars that did essentially the same thing, and despite the fact that that ad was an intentional remake of Christian Marclay's 1995 video Telephones, one of the most notable forerunners of the modern supercut. Despite all that, the creators behind the first video claimed that they'd never even heard of Marclay. When an idea assimilates itself into the DNA of a culture so completely that its ubiquity passes without comment and its leading practitioners can work oblivious to its history, that idea isn't just a fad, it's become ideological. And the idea of the supercut, to extract matching bits of footage from narrative or news and to arrange them into a list of clips demonstrating a category to which they belong or a trope from which they emerge, the ubiquity of that idea indicates a new mass mode of thinking about our shared visual history. Somewhere along the line, we stopped thinking of the archive as an archive, a storehouse preserving great works or important records, and we started to think of it as a database, a mass of raw material to be sorted as data points and queried like a search engine. My name is Max Tohline, and this is a Supercut of Supercuts, a video essay in 3 parts.